What's going on, everyone? I'm AB Sports. It's a downtime for the NFL right now, but don't worry. There are still plenty of questions everyone has about this upcoming season. Subscribers of this channel have sent me questions, and I picked 10 of them to answer in this video. Let's get into it. Question 1, Cole and Josh both asked, who is a sleeper playoff team for this season? And my answer is the Carolina Panthers. Head coach Matt Rule is known for having transition years, where he has a bad record in his first year in a head coaching position, only to follow that year up with a really good team that comes out of nowhere. Last year, in Rule's first year as the head coach, the Panthers defense had the youngest average age in NFL history, and their offense lost Christian McCaffrey for most of the season. The defense will improve this year, and whether you believe in Sam Darnold or not, he has much more upside than Teddy Bridgewater and 3 electric offensive weapons that can run after the catch. The NFC wildcard spots this season are very vulnerable. The NFC East is terrible. Green Bay has Aaron Rodgers drama, and Drew Brees is gone from New Orleans. Don't be surprised if the Panthers steal one of these spots. Question 2, Connor asks, when will Justin Fields start for the Bears? The Bears traded up to pick 11 in the draft to draft Justin Fields, and I think his first start for Chicago will come week 4 when the Bears host the Lions. Chicago begins their season in LA against the Rams. Then they come home to play Cincinnati and travel to Cleveland in week 3. I think with Andy Dalton at the helm, they'll come out of that stretch 1-2, and the fans will be calling for Fields. So they'll throw him out there in an easy matchup at home against Detroit, and he will be the Bears quarterback for the rest of the season and hopefully for many years down the road. Question 3, Dylan asks, will the Ravens be a top 2 seed in the AFC this year? I say no, and the reason I say that is because I don't think the Ravens are going to win the NFC North. I think the Browns will. Baltimore will still be a playoff team unless Lamar Jackson gets injured, but I think they're going to have to be a wild card because the Browns are absolutely loaded. Every position on the offensive line and defensive line is top of the league. They have the best 1-2 punch in the NFL at running back, and they improved the back end of their defense in the draft and free agency. It all comes down to Baker. If he can take that last step forward and cement himself as a top 10 quarterback, Cleveland could be 13-4 next year and win the AFC North. And I think that will happen. Also, may have caught some of you off guard with the 13-4 comment, but that brings me to the next question, which is from Nate, and it is, what is the impact of the extended season on the players? Nate asked this because the NFL's regular season will now be 17 games and span 18 weeks, still giving every team one bye week. Personally, I love this change because it gives us more football. You can check out my rankings of these new games at the top of the screen right now, but anyways, this extra game will affect the players in both negative and positive ways. We've already seen older players like Roethlisberger fall apart down the stretch after 11 or 12 games. Now, if you want to win the Super Bowl, you have to play at least 20 games and potentially 21. That will prove to be too much for many older players, and we may see younger teams like the Bills have playoff success. Also, many NFL records could be broken. Derrick Henry could threaten the all-time rushing yards record for sure, as he was only 78 yards away in 16 games last year. And I think Michael Strahan's record of 22.5 sacks will be broken by either TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, or Aaron Donald. Question 5, Trent wants to know, what role will Tim Tebow play as part of the Jacksonville Jaguars? And I think the Tim Tebow signing is so weird. He hasn't played in the NFL since 2012, and he's never played tight end in his life. He only really got signed because he has such a good relationship with new Jags head coach Urban Meyer. The best way for the Jags to use Tebow is as a locker room leader. I don't think he can contribute much on the field, but he's a great Christian leader who can rally the team together and help them win together by growing in their faith. Question 6, Sean wants to know who the most improved team will be. And I think it will be the San Francisco 49ers. They were 6-10 last year, despite every notable player on their team getting injured. The return of all-pro caliber players like Nick Bosa and George Kittle, as well as the addition of Trey Lance, who has unlimited upside at QB, should give the Niners at least 10 wins, in my opinion. Question 7, Tavish's question, will Jalen Hurts succeed? Now I think this question depends on the definition of success. I think Hurts will score a lot of fantasy points next year. I think he'll have some cool highlight plays by scoring rushing touchdowns and throwing deep balls to Devonta Smith. However, I don't think the Eagles are going to be good. The offense is so young and inexperienced, the defense is bad, and I don't like the head coaching hire. Philly's going to struggle next year, but I don't think the struggles will be Jalen Hurts' fault. So take into that what you will about the definition of success. Question 8, Owen's question is, what will be the most significant change from last season to this season? And my answer is the noise. Stadiums are going to be louder than they have ever been. All of the fans that didn't get to go to any games last season due to the pandemic will be vaccinated and fill the stadiums this fall. In stadiums that are already loud, like Seattle, we could potentially see a decibel record if, for example, the Niners have a 3rd and long in Seattle in the 4th quarter, and the fans are all yelling as loud as they possibly can to make up for last season. Question 9, John asks, which player is going to be the most impactful to his team? So basically, if that player wasn't on that team, how many fewer games would the team win? So this question is different from MVP. Even though the award is called Most Valuable Player, it's just given to the best player, without paying much attention to who is truly the most valuable to their team. That's what this question is asking. And the player who is the most impactful and valuable to his team is Russell Wilson. If Russ gets hurt in week 1 and Geno Smith has to lead the Seahawks next year, they might win 3 games. The defense is well below average, and the offensive line is one of the worst in the league. The entire Seattle team rides on the success of Russell Wilson throwing the ball to Metcalf and Lockett, scrambling around in the pocket like a madman. Put a non-mobile QB back there who can't throw a good deep ball behind that O-line, and this team is dreadful. Wilson probably won't win MVP, but he is the most valuable player to his team. However, there were many requests for me to give my MVP pick. Jack, Cole, and Josh all asked who I think is going to win MVP. And I debated this for a long time, and I know this pick is going to change many times before the season starts. The easy answer is Mahomes, and if I had to put money on it, I would put money on him. But the MVP is always someone we don't expect coming into the season. For that reason, if I take out obvious choices like Mahomes, Brady, Rodgers, and Allen, I could see the MVP being new Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford. Stafford has been known for putting up huge, empty stats in Detroit, but this year, I could see him putting up huge, meaningful numbers, because I think the Rams are going to be a top 5 team in the NFL next year. I also think Sean McVay has been held back by Jared Goff these last few years and has been creating plays for Stafford all offseason. No one saw it coming when Matt Ryan won MVP a few years ago, nor when Lamar won it a few years after that. Stafford may be next in line. If you have other questions, leave them in the comments below and I'll make another video answering them. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to the channel, and thanks for watching.